With a 3¼ inch block of wood. This is actually sugar maple, and it looks all crummy and dirty, but it really isn't. What happens is what do we have to do to wood to get it dry? Anybody know? Anybody know to dry wood, how you get it dry? Put it in an oven. Put it in an oven at 700 degrees for 2 weeks. It dries out the wood. It takes all the moisture out of it. The starting moisture content is about 80% of a tree. We have to take it all the way down to 8 to 10%. Right? All the black stuff you see on here is actually maple syrup. The sap comes to the surface, and at 700 degrees, it actually evaporates all that, and what's left is burnt maple syrup. It smells great when it first goes in, when it's nice and warm. Once it gets burnt, it doesn't smell so nice. From there, at our sawmill, we turn it from a square to a round, 3-inch round. We call this a bat billet. Basically, it's either ash or it's maple. We put on our scale, we weigh it. Once we weigh it, we'll use a grid system to tell what kind of bat we can use or what kind of bat we can make. Currently here at RLC Bats, we do 3 of the most popular models. We do the 110, we do the 243, and we do the 271 models. There are over 300 different models of bats. So if you think of there's 300 different patterns that actually can cut a bat. The longest bat you can have in the major leagues is 42 inches. And the lowest weight drop you can have is a -3, which means if you have a 33-ounce bat or a 33-inch bat, you can only go down to 30 ounces. All right, so the difference between maple and ash. Does anybody know the differences between maple and ash? All right, so maple is a porous wood. What that means is when you look at the grains, you're going to see little tiny holes. It means the bat will breathe. That means there's constantly air moving through an ash bat. Those air pockets allow a cushion or a whip or a flex in the bat, which creates the whipping action, whereas a maple bat is a solid one piece of wood, and it does not bend, it does not flex, and when it breaks, it will separate into 2 pieces. When a wood bat or when a ash bat breaks, it will not separate into 2 pieces. It just cracks and splinters a little bit, and that's all it does. So I'm going to pass these 2 around. You can take a look at the grains. You actually can put your fingernail in the grain of a ash bat, but you cannot put the fingernails in the grains of a maple bat. And now as we're passing this around, the RLC 110 is actually one of the most durable bats on the market right now. It's got a very thick handle, very thick center, and a very thin barrel. And the reason for that is because you don't want too much weight on the end. You want the bat to feel somewhat balanced. So this is one of the most durable bats on the market. It does have a half flared knob. So you can look at that one. Next one is a very, very big bat. It is one of the biggest bats in Major League Baseball. This is the C243. It's got a 2 5/8-inch barrel. It's got a very skinny handle, very skinny middle, so it's going to make the bat very, very end heavy. These are for the power hitters. It is very difficult to get this bat through the strike zone with a 95-mile-per-hour pitch coming at you. So you're going to feel it's very, very end heavy. And last but not least, this is the C271. This is the most popular model in the major leagues today. Over 80% of the players use this bat. It's got a full flare knob for comfort. It also produces a push-pull action by adding a little bit of weight at the bottom. It's got a very skinny handle, it's got a very thick center, and it's got a very, very thin handle. This bat is more likely to break than any other bats in the major leagues because of how thin it is and how much push-pull action that the major leagues get when they put the torque on the bats. But it is the most popular model that we sell, and it is very, very balanced. And it's got the nicest sweet spot as well.
Can you change the different knobs on like this bat, make it smaller or not?
That would be the same as half flare of a 110. Like I said, there's 330, so there's all standard knobs and all standard barrels. There's 331 different ways. So I focus on these 3. We can make all 300 in some. You just got to let me know which model you like. All right, we also do fungo bats. Fungo bats are very thin-handled, very, very thin barrel bats. They're very, very light. These are for coaches to use who are hitting infield and outfield practice. And the reason for that is that major league coaches hit about between 1,000 and 2,000 ground balls, fly balls a week. So you want something that they're not going to get too tired. So we do sell the fungos in ash and maple. And very last but not least of all the things we do here is the Little League bats. The Little League bats are We used to never sell them, but we just started selling Little League bats about 2 years ago, and that is because we started getting involved with the safety of wood bats. As you know, there's an average of 7 Little League children die every year because of metal bats, because the exit speeds on metal bats are over 100 miles per hour, whereas the exit speed on a wood bat is around 90. So it gives the kids about an extra half second to get out of the way of a ball coming back at them. Big safety issue with the Little League bats is, we want to make sure that, when we're playing baseball, that not only does it safer, it makes them a lot better hitters. With a metal bat, you can hit it off anywhere part of the handle and still get a pretty good hit. Whereas with a wood bat, if you hit it on the wrong end, it's either going to break or it's going to sting really bad. So it teaches the kids how to be a really good hitter if they start with wood, especially when they're young.